Welcome to Tech Talks, everyone. So good to see so many new faces in the room with us today. And we are going to hear from our very own Jane Lowe from the EDC, who is going to help us make sense of the census. The census is a fantastic place to get information. But before we do, we're going to just remember our group norms here, which are to get ready by just clearing your space, make it free of distractions. We're going to get set by making sure that we're ready to pay attention and we're going to participate on the phone, over chat. Braden's monitoring the chat today. So if you're brand new, go ahead and drop him a hello and tell him what state you're from. And we're just excited to get started. So the monthly challenge from this past month was to use the search bar on the census website to explore your state's data. That was at data.census.gov. And if you had an opportunity to do that, that's fantastic. If you didn't, that's okay too. Jane is going to go ahead and help us start navigating. And with that, we'll let you take it away. Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Jane, again. Let's see. So, can you all see my screen okay? You hear me okay?
Looks great. Thanks, Jane.
Okay, awesome. So, well, welcome everyone for today's Tech Talk. The topic is making sense of the census. I'm your presenter, Jane Lowe. So we have two Janes here. So let's get started. So before we jump into the census data, there are a lot of things that goes into it. I think the best way for us to be able to
Where's your plate?
correctly
Still have 2 apples on your plate.
navigate the census data is to follow these couple steps. So the first one is to understand what is in the census data, because there's so many sections, there's so many subsections that talks about the census data. It covers so many different areas. The first thing I think we want to do is to understand what is in the census data. Once we understand what is in there, hopefully we'll be able to, through some resources that we'll be presenting today, we'll be able to find a topic that interests you and that you can know what you're looking for from the census data. The next step we want to cover is to, now that we know what's in the census data, we know what topic we want to, that is interesting to you. Now we can finally use the census data. The fourth step that we're going to do is to also share some research, or the continued research that you want to do, some of the resources on census that you can just look at them after our presentation. And the last but not least, make sure to have fun. It could be overwhelming with how much they have in the census data, but make sure to have fun. And if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat and we'll see if we can cover that. So first one. What is the census data? I know we probably already have some kind of experience being surveyed by the census data, or the people, or if they knock on your door, you have a phone call, stuff like that. But what is it? So what is in there is that, first of all, it is a national survey. It covers all 50 states, the DC, Puerto Rico, all the island areas. And it also happens every 5 years, so they don't get surveyed every year. Last time we did the census, not we, but last time census happened was 2022, I believe. So what's in there? There are so many different subsections in the census survey. The first one they do collect is demographic data. They also cover economics data, and then household or geographic data. So what we mean by demographic data is that what is in there, what is something that we can, make use of. The first thing is that the demographic data, they measured like income, poverty level, education, health insurance, housing quality, crime, even computer usage, which we will be covered in the following slides. And then the economics one, not only they talk about like the income, but they more talk about more like a board image of like the national economy, like what is going on with our economy, and then like a lot of economic reports that we'll have from that uses the census data. And then the next one they talk about is the household or the geographic information. So what's in there is more with like a smaller focus, like a more focus on the demographic data, or what happened within like a specific household. So they ask about like, is there any effects with the COVID-19 pandemic? Did it affect any education, employment, food security, health, housing, social security benefits, etc. So that one is a little kind of like demographic data, but a little more specific to like specific household in a state or nationally. So next one is that I didn't know about census data is that although it happens every 5 years, they actually do release projections, meaning like they do estimates. So even though they don't survey you every year, based on the first year of the data collection, they do make estimates and then project what kind of like population growth you will have in the next year, next 5 years, or what kind of economic growth you may have in your state or nationally. But those are just estimates. So those are not actual survey data, but they are estimates and they're pretty accurate. So this is what included in the census data. So now we're going to introduce some of the tools that we can use in census, because they're not just only looking at all the numbers. There's actually a lot of different tools that will be able to give you like an overview on your state or just some of the facts, and can help you to find a topic that you're actually interested in and then to do some research on. So the first one we want to introduce is called Quick Facts. I have a link in the PowerPoint, and I believe Braden will also be posting the link to the chat if you want to follow along. So if I click on the link, are you guys seeing the Quick Facts, the website?
Yeah, looks good, Jane.
Okay, awesome. So this is the Quick Facts. This is like a dashboard. On the top corner, the blue one, we can see that there are tables that you can pick on, maps if you only want to look at the maps, chart if you want to look at the charts, and dashboard, which is what we're at right now. Dashboard just meaning like a combination of the tables, map, and chart. So right now we can see that the dashboard is showing the United States, so just national data. We can also see right here, there is a filter. This is the United States. So it's just, basically letting you know that you're not on any filters, just showing you national data. If we scroll down, we can see on the left-hand side is that population, and then we can see population estimates on the first graph, which is what the projections that I was talking about, because they didn't do census in 2022. These are just the estimate that based on their calculation. So if we scroll down, and then we can see a lot of different topics that they have, age and sex, race, and then we can see housing information and all the stuff. On the right-hand side, we can see the map. And then the darker the blue color is on the map, the more dense the population is, basically. And then if we scroll down, we can also see the charts showing you like an overview of what's going on with all the states. So if we scroll up over here, is that all topics? Because right now we don't know what really topics that we want to look at. I originally just want to look at right here, select effects. Sorry, this one. It's not the off topics, but select effects. And then we can select, for example, I want to know what is the population, pediatric patient population from census. So I will pick persons under 18 years %. I will click on that. And then it will show me all the percentage. For example, right here, this is already like there's like a frame on it because that is the filter that we picked. It will be showing us that in nationally, 22.2% of the population are people under 18 years old. So I would like to go back to the table to show you a little bit more detailed of how we can use this. If it lets me. There we go. Okay, so this one is just like a focus. So what I would like to do is I would like to put in Utah's information because that is where I'm at right now. So I will put Utah and then enter, or put whichever state that you want. So you will notice that in the Quick Facts, it also Utah is already here. And then on the right-hand side is the US. So this is showing you the data for Utah and the US, just like a comparison. So if we want to focus on the things that we just look at, which is persons under 18 years old, we can see that in Utah, we have 28.4% of our population are children, or just people under 18 years old, which is significantly a little bit higher than the national percentage, which is 22.2%. So we can see all these different numbers. We can notice there are a little bit changes over here. So these are how you can use these quick facts. But is this really interesting? It just depends on what you want to look at. This one is a tool to help you find what topics that you'll want to look at. So if we don't have any questions, we're going to jump back to the presentation. And then we're going to move on to the next tool. The next tool is called topics. So these on the left-hand side, we can see these are all the topics, which is like the category. You know, when you were doing the census survey, they have like all these questions about it. And these are all the topics. These are like overview analyses that Census.com did. According to the topics it's more like a board image of what is going on with like the business or the education in the entire nation. But this one is also a good tool for you to use to just look through and then see what kind of analyses they have and see if there's any topics that interest you. So I will click on here right now, and I believe Braden probably already put the link in the chat. So these are all the topics that we have. I will also show you what the trending topics or the subtopics are. So we can see the trending topics are like health insurance, poverty, income. So these are all the hot topics that right now. But as I said, if my interest is like in children, then I want to scroll down right here, families and living arrangements. So there's like a plus sign over here. So you can click on that and then scroll down. It will show you all of the topics that you can click on. I will want to click on child well-being. So once we click on that, it will show us like, oh, what are you looking at? These are some of the news that were released by the Census.com. These are just analyses that were conducted by the Census.gov. And these are just like some of the findings of some of the research that they shared. They think it would be interesting for the public to see. So if I click on the first one, you can see there are like a paragraph telling you what's going on. These are some of the findings that they have. And then if we scroll down, I would say most of them will also have like a graph or some kind of visualization that you can see. So these are their findings. They're like, oh, they're comparing 2001, 2011, and 2021. What are the living arrangements over the decades? There might be a lot of things that happen, obviously for the past 20 years, but what are the living arrangements? So with just a glance, we can see that it doesn't really change much with the living arrangement over the past 20 years. We can see that the majority of people who live are still living with a spouse, which is like a 50 to 55%. We can see it's like slowly decreasing from 55 to 50.4%. But these are like some of the trends and some of the analyses that you can look at. And depending on what topic that might interest you, these are all the findings that they have. If we don't have any questions, we'll go back to the presentation right here. Again, you don't have to do the children topic. I think it's just like the most relatable to us. But there's a lot of others that you can look at as well. So the next one will be census in school. These are the state facts. So this one is actually pretty interesting. This one is actually designed for like teachers who are teaching elementary school to middle school. So I know it's like the age range is kind of like far from us, but it's actually really nice because they use like easier languages to show you how you can use the census data, because the target audience for them is for elementary school to middle school. So these are actually really interesting. I really like it. So let's click on the link right here or the link in the chat. So this one, you can see they're called statistic in school. And then you can see these are like obviously for students. And then we can scroll down, and then these are like, they have like teacher design. So there's like any classroom materials you want to use. It is actually very easy to use. They're all free. as well. So if we want to scroll down, we can also see explore classroom activities. They have like different subjects that you can cover. And then if we scroll down, this one is my favorite. So it's that state facts for students. So we can click on explore state facts. And then we're gonna scroll down. Wait for it to load. There you go. And then I'm gonna pick Utah again because this is where I am. And then just hit go. And then you can see that I generate a fact sheets about Utah. So it looks like we have 3 million people by 2021. These are the age, the capital city is Salt Lake City, and is also the largest city in Utah. And then these are all like quick facts that you can see. I really like the green area right here, is that how people get to work. So this one is like an analysis that showed you that what are the changes between 2010 and 2021. So we can see that working from home from 2010 is only 4.4% of Utahns were working from home. But by 2021, we all know what happened is that a lot of people changes from working in the office and then to working from home. So we can see within that 10 years, we had a huge jump from 4.4% to 20%. So that's a pretty big jump. And I know a lot of people are working from home. I didn't know that was such a big jump. So those are some interesting findings. We can also see it also correlates with like other things. For example, like how people get to work. Obviously, because more people are working from home now, there is a less request for transportation. So even bicycle, it drops down for 0.1%. Carpool, it also dropped down from 11 to 8%. Driving alone, 77 to 66%. And obviously the changes is because people no longer need transportation, they just work from home. So these are like a lot of interesting things that you can find. If you do dig into those classroom materials that we just showed earlier, you can also see they are actually very valuable because they will give you some introductory of like research questions. And then they will let you know that, hey, this is the question we want you to find using this fact sheets. So you can use them and then to learn a lot more about the census data. So if we don't have any questions, we'll jump back to the presentation. And then the next step is finally using the data. So it's data.census.gov, or it should be a link in the chat. I will just click on here right now. So this one is the real deal. This one is the actual census data that like all the numbers and the graphs that we'll be seeing. So we can see this one, there is a search bar right here. You can put any keywords that you want in there and it's gonna pick up, and we're gonna show you in just a minute. But first I want to introduce you to let you know what you'll be finding. Once you type in like keywords and stuff, it will generate like tables that look like this. It will also be maps, and then and all the reports. And then and then it also like gives you like suggestions. They're like, hey, why don't you search for this in like all counties in like year and stuff. So what I wanted to do is I want to search for Utah and children, which is what we have been looking for. So I would just click enter or just click the search button. So once I hit search, you can see that it already give me any result is like, oh, under 18 years old in Utah is 28.3%, which is what we originally see in the first fact sheet, quick facts that we had. You can also see on the left-hand side here, there are two filters, which is the Utah and children, which is what we put in the search bar. So whatever you put in the search bar, the system or the software, the website will pick it up and then filter it for you. So it is actually very handy. So once we have this, we can click on view this result, or if you can, obviously you can click on other tables as well. But I would just click on view this result right here on the blue button. It does take a little bit for it to load because there are a lot of numbers that is coming up. you can see that right here, there is the table that we can see right here. It gives you the breakdown of the entire population. It gives the male, female, sex and age. And then if we scroll down, we can see race is again. What I usually like to see is that obviously you can see Utah right here. I like to turn off the margin of error because that is a little bit too technical for public audience to see. So I would just put that off. And then immediately I can see it looks a little bit more clean. It would just give you the estimate.
Let's see.
And then the percentage.
Hey, Jane.
Yes.
Just letting you know you've got about 10 more minutes. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So these are the breakdowns. We can see, oh, this is the percentage of how many of the Utah population, how many people are under 5 years old. These are all the breakdowns of age. And then these are the race as well. So let's say if you want to download the data for like doing more technical analysis, so you can do right here, there's an Excel on the top. You can just click on that. What's going to do is it's not going to give you the entire data set for census data. It's going to give you what you see on this table. So we can see right here, the file is already here. Take some time for it to open. So you can see the first page just kind of gives you like an overview of what you just downloaded. These are all the facts. And then you can see exclude the columns. We did exclude the margin of error. And then the next tab on the bottom, if you click on this one, you can see the data. So these are the actual data that we see. So this is exactly the same thing that you will see from the website, but it just, if you want to do some more detailed analyses in Excel, or maybe this is the preferred view that you want, it will be right here. So these are all the things that we can see. So if we go back to the website, we were like, okay, well, now I know these are the demographics. I want to see a little bit more detailed things. So let's say if we click on the second one, what I really like about the search function is that it will give you like suggest topics that are, oh, people who look for Utah and children tend to look for these as well. So they will give you all the suggestions right here. So we can click on the next one. And then you can see it's kind of similar, but specifically is that children under 18 years old in the household. The first one that showed us all the age. And then we can see, oh, these are the race. And then these are the relationship to the householder. And all like disability status and all of the details. So these are, I understand it could be a little overwhelming with how many numbers there are here, but these are all the tools that you can use for the census data. And then let's go back to the presentation. So I understand that might be a little overwhelming, and I know I went through a lot of things very fast, but luckily we have the Census Academy. So it is a free e-learning hub that you can do. And I'm gonna click on the link right here to show you what's going on. So this is Census Academy. They're all free and they're all e-learning. You don't really have to go to any presentations. If you scroll down, you will see view by topic. And then there's a lot of topic. They're like, oh, these are the resources. This is the data tool, data science and visualization resources. So you can scroll down. This one gives you like there is some courses. I believe they are free that are online. It just lets you know how you can use it. What I really like about these are they are actually really short. They're about 5 to 10 minutes if you're just looking at like a short video. So let's say if I click on data science and visualization resources, if I click on that one, it's going to give you kind of like the tech talk that you're looking at right now. It gives you a recorded tutorial to show you how to use it. Let's see if we scroll down here. This one is how can I visualize data for adult and children population? So I think this one might be more related to what we do. It lets you know how you can use the census data to actually visualize it and make it to a graph for children population, which is what we just tried to show you. If you click on it, it's gonna give you like a 5 minutes, I think, a YouTube video, like a tutorial to show you how you can use those. So if you have any questions, there are a lot of topics you can go, and then you can feel free to go to the Census Academy. They're Again, they're free, and then they're usually 5 to 10 minutes, not super long. And it will show you all the tutorials that you'll need. So just a quick wrap up that what we go through today. The first one is the quick facts. That one is like a dashboard that shows you like all the data, the table, the charts, the map. And then the next one is the topics. If you don't know what topics you're interested in, make sure to check that out. And then to just play around, look around and see what will interest you. The next thing is the state facts. That one is the one that has talked about the percentage differences with working from home from 2010 and 2021. That is also the one that designed for students. The next one is the actual census data. I know we didn't spend a lot of time doing that, but that one might be a little bit more challenging even to me as well. But luckily, again, we have the Census Academy, and if you have any questions or any tutorials that you would need, make sure to check that out. And then it's going to let you know a lot of tutorials that you'll be able to find over there. And if you have any questions, this is my email. And that's the end of my presentation.
Great. Thank you so much for that great information, Jane. I really like the e-learning modules that they have. That's pretty fantastic that you have even more resources beyond just the census there.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions for Jane? Feel free to pop them in the chat there, or go ahead and unmute and just ask right over the phone if you'd like. We have just a few minutes that we can do that with. I think one question that I have, Jane, is do they have any specific, like if I were an EMSC program manager, things that you've navigated to for emergency?
I think specifically, I do try to think of that how it can be a lot more relatable to the managers. I think if you look at like a children population distribution with your state, I think that's going to help you understand, oh, which population or which county has the most children population. That might be helpful if you're doing any like disaster preparedness or any plans like that. If you are looking more with like hospital information, they do have hospital information in census as well. So those are the two topics I think will be more related to what we do, is hospital, healthcare, and children. So those are the 3 big topics.
Awesome. There's also a question in the chat. Is from Margot. She says, is the census data updated in Tableau?
I believe so. Yes, I think they are populated in Tableau. There will be, if you are looking through like some of the, let me see. So if you're looking at the census data like .gov, it won't, I don't think it will go to Tableau. It will just go to Excel, CVS, CSV. So like those data, just the Excel. But I think if you look at like the state facts, those are populated from Tableau. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Great.
Jane.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Jane, it's Margot.
Hi.
We talked about this back in 2020, like seeing if it would be updated in Tableau. I don't know if you remember that discussion way back when, but you were able to like, roll over the counties, and there was like a part of Tableau, and I know it was on a to-do list, but I just quickly tried to look in Tableau and I didn't see it. I just didn't know if it was going to be there soon, or I just overlooked it.
And thank you for the clarification, Margot. So the question, I guess, is related more to our dashboards in Tableau. Related there. Andrea, I know you're on the call. Can you speak to that about when the census data is going to get updated? I know with the coming of new dashboards, you're right. I know that was on a to-do list, and I think that is probably still coming, still forthcoming. But Andrea, do you have any information about that?
Yeah, I just actually have a question for Margot first. Are you talking about the one that the ones that we had on our website with the census data, that we had those?
No, I was able to like roll, like there was a dashboard specifically in there that I was able to like roll over. And so we were wanting to include all that information when our healthcare districts were working on their pediatric surge annex back in 2020. I just didn't know if it was there somewhere and I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. And I don't know if you noticed, but it doesn't show old dashboards anymore. That's a new change that's happened with our IT for management security purposes. So Patty unfortunately is not here. She's the one who creates those dashboards, and she would give you an estimate. I don't see it happening soon because HRSA's requests for types of dashboards come first. Meaning like what they want us to create. So that has modified it a little bit. It is still on the list to be done. I just don't know when that will happen. So I don't even know if it'll happen with the 2023 data. And they're still waiting, and I don't even know what's been created for NPRP yet, or what's in the works for that, because of them waiting on the manuscript.
Yeah.
Because I know there's some that have been released, some minimal ones for NPRP, but not the full extent. So
Yeah.
there's a huge long list of dashboards Patty and Jane Lowe have to create. So.
And it sounds like we'll definitely let you know as soon as we know when that change is going to be made. So keep checking back, Margot. I'll keep checking back with you as well. And if I get any more information from Patty, I'll reach out to you directly. So
Great. Thank you
that'd
both.
be great. Yeah, thanks so much. That is all the time we have for today. Just a reminder to join us next time. For navigating the new EDC website, you're not going to want to miss this one. It's a two-parter, and this is not a makeover of our website. This is a brand new website. We'll be releasing the link sometime in May, so watch for that. Be sure to make sure you check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at the EMSC Data Center. Be sure to like us, follow us, and share. That's where you get the most up-to-date information. And if you have any ideas for Tech Talks or have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at jane.osler@hsc.utah.edu. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon and look forward to seeing you all next month. Take care, everyone.